The Historic Preservation Commission hears and makes decisions on application of certificate of appropriate, COA, in accordance with the powers granted under Section 7, Chapter 4 of the Augusta, Georgia Code. In making a decision on a COA, the Commission may consider but shall not be bound by precedent. Each case shall be decided upon its merit, applying historic preservation ordinance and the applicable design guidelines. If a quorum is not present at the regular meeting of the Commission, a special meeting shall be held within 14 calendar days from such scheduled meeting. Any person affected by the Commission's decision may file an appeal with the Augusta Commission. The meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Commission bylaws and Robert's Rule of Order, unless otherwise directed by the majority of the Commission in session at the time. The Commission encourages participation in this hearing, and there's no restriction on who may address the Commission within the allotted time. But the Commission asks the public's comment to be brief, on subject, and directed to the Commission and not to any individual group. Commissioners and folks, if you're an applicant, please come to this podium, and please state your name and your address and speak close to the mic so the gentleman upstairs can hear us. And Todd will be over here giving us that. And commissioners, when y'all address and ask questions, please, it'd be nice if you'd state your name and ask the question, and please speak into the mic so we have record of it. Todd, it is now turned over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. I already called the meeting to order. Do you want me to go ahead and do a roll call, or do you want me to just go ahead and proceed on with the minutes?
Proceed with the roll call.
All right, yes, sir. All right, Commissioner McBrayer. Here. Mr. Chair, based on discussion earlier, Commissioner Hobbs is absent this evening
Yes,
due to an
she's
illness.
ill.
Okay, Commissioner Mattson.
Here.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kelly, I don't see her in the up here, so, and I already left her a phone message and reached out, and I have not heard back. So she's absent tonight. Okay, Commissioner Heath. Here. Commissioner Hall.
Here.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Maben.
Present.
Commissioner Vick.
Here.
And Chair Barbie.
Here.
Okay, 8 present, 2 absent. We have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
All right, let's proceed with the agenda.
Okay, next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the previous meeting on December 18th, 2025.
Do we need, if we make any adjustments to the agenda, do we need to make it before we take up any items, Council?
Objections?
If we're going to change the order of an item, we do that first. All right. All right. Commissioners, we have the agenda before us. Do we need to make any changes or adoption to this agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, I've had a request. Is Michael Ingram here? Mike Ingram? I've had a request to move this item up. He's got another activity tonight. We'd like to move that item. And which item is that?
That is item 3, sub-item F, COA 2581.
2581. If we could move that one up, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Do I hear any objections of us moving that item to be the number 1 item on the agenda?
I see no objections, Chairman.
All right. Hearing and seeing no objections, we'll take that COA up first when we get to the new business. All right.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I think that moves on to item number 2, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting on December 18th, 2025.
I make a motion for approval of the minutes of our last meeting. I don't see any corrections, anything that need to be.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, approved.
All right, it's approved. Unanimous vote, sir.
All right, let's take the first COA, Todd.
All right, here we go. And Mr. Chair, just bear with me. I got to thumb through the slides here till I get to number 81. Ms. Kelly, good to see you again. Sir, for the record, Commissioner Kelly just came in. So that's 9 present, 1 absent. Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm at the point right here. Okay, the first COA before you, based on your previous motion, COA 25-81. This is a petition by the AAA Sign Company on behalf of State Farm Insurance for a certificate of appropriateness, COA 1106 Broad Street, downtown, for a request new signage on the front storefront building. Okay, there's our subject property. Took a picture right in front, as you can see our sign right in here and then just kind of in the downtown area. Okay, it's a 0.29 acre property situated along Broad Street. 11th Street features 8,712 square foot commercial building constructed in 1880 thereabouts. A previous staff approved COA. SA 2598 was approved back in December of 2025 for a new window logo. I'll show you a picture of that momentarily. The property is zone B2, and there are no zoning issues presented by this petition. Okay, staff findings. It's requested for commercial signage advertising new business by State Farm Insurance by Mike Ingram. The signage will consist of LED internal lighting, have dimensions of 1.8 foot by 12.5 foot, total size of 23 square foot. The design would consist of 20-inch red illuminated pin-mounted letters with 3 oval symbols and, just be with the logo. Okay, submittal plans. This is what was submitted. This is the existing building. This sign basically is going to go away and be replaced. And then this is the proposal. Here's our sign. And then that logo I was telling you about that got approved with a staff approved is this down in here. Okay, Historic Augusta comments are as follows. The proposed new sign is appropriate so long as it complies with the sign ordinance in terms of size and specifications. Mr. Chair, the recommendation is as follows. The proposed signage conforms precisely to the downtown design guidelines and is well designed and ultimately appropriate for the district. Staff recommends approval of this request as presented, subject to any conditions as the commission deems appropriate. That concludes my presentation, sir.
Applicant, state your name and address, and you have anything to add to the report?
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm Kirsha Eastman with AAA Sign Company. I live at 4046 Raintree Drive in Martinez. And obviously, this is Mike. We don't really have anything more to say about it other than we appreciate the staff's approval and your time.
Okay, anyone in the audience have any objections or any statement to make about this certificate of appropriateness? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Commissioners, do we have any questions of the applicant?
I make a motion we approve based on staff recommendations.
I have a motion. Do I have properly second?
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second.
Let's see, who seconded it? Was that Commissioner Mattson? Okay, gotcha. Sorry, Mr. Chair.
All right. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Passed by unanimous vote, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen and lady.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay, Mr. Chair, the next case before you is COA 25-76. It's a petition by Mr. Scott Seaman on behalf of Miss Elizabeth Dunbar for a certificate of appropriateness, 2651 Henry Street, located within the Somerville District, and the request is to replace a front window for an existing residence. And here's our residence right here. The scope of work is actually going to be right here in this area. This is the old window to be replaced by this window right here. Okay, staff findings are as follows. It's a .32 acre property situated on the north side of Henry Street between the intersections of Montesano and Fleming Avenue, and in the Somerville district. Features a 3,815 square foot home built in 1931 based on property records. There are no recent petitions regarding this property. The property is zoned R1A, one family residential. There's no zoning issues presented with this petition. The petitioner requests approval to replace a window on the front facade of the home with a new wood with vinyl clad window. Okay, information is as follows. Here is our sign being posted. Here is the window in front proposed to be replaced. You can see some visible rot, wear and tear with this window. Another picture that was submitted right here, as you can see, the condition of it. Just some extra information that was submitted by the applicant. This is the sash that was taken off to show the condition. Now this is the proposed window here without the muntins or mullions being installed. And then here is another window taken. It's inside the house, inside the front foyer or pergola, I believe that is. Okay, just some extra information right here. As you can see, it has the wood clad material with the vinyl material included. And then this is a close-up right here in this area, as you can see, with the muntins included. And historic comments are as follows. It's always preferred to retain and repair historic windows in historic districts. Windows are character-defining features of historic homes, including the material size, framing, muntin pattern, and functionality. If replacement windows are allowed, they should match the existing window style as closely as possible in dimensions, style, muntin pattern, muntin and sash height and width, and double-hung sash design. New windows should be functioning vinyl or aluminum-clad wood windows. Based on that information, staff recommends HPC approve this request as the one window is being replaced with a new window that will consist of vinyl-clad wood material and have the proposed 8x8 muntin configuration that matches the existing window. Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation for you tonight. And I see that the applicant, the representative, is with us tonight. Mr. Dunbar.
State your name and address.
My name is Paul Dunbar. I live at 2637 Henry Street, Augusta, Georgia, 30904. And I'm here representing the contractor and my daughter, Carter Dunbar, who resides at this residence. She's out of town in Colorado visiting my two grandchildren, and the contractor has the flu, and I told him that nobody wanted to see him tonight. I would handle it. And we're in full agreement with the staff recommendation.
You have nothing, you don't have anything else to add to the record?
No.
All right. Do we have anyone in the audience who would like to address the commission on this, concerning this application? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant at this time? Oh. Well, hearing no questions, do we have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the staff recommendation.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second.
A second.
We have a second. All right, we have motion properly made and properly second. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Passed by unanimous vote, sir.
Thank you, sir. May I be excused?
You may be excused.
Make him stay.
No. Wait a minute. Out of order. You are. Take it. All right, Todd, next applicant.
Okay, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. The next item before you is COA 25-77. It's a petition by Mr. Michael Swim, Mr. and Mrs. Swim, for a certificate of appropriateness, 1251 Hurd Avenue, located in the Somerville Historic District. And this request is to replace windows on an existing residential structure. Here's our subject property with our sign. Now, the staff findings are as follows on this. 0.34 acre property situated at the intersection of Wrightsboro Road and Hurd Avenue, Somerville District. Features a 1,944 square foot home built in 1940. There was a previous COA, SA 25-28, issued in May of 2025 for a re-roofing. I believe it was asphalt shingle to asphalt shingle, if I remember correctly. The property is zoned R1C, one family residential. No zoning issue has been presented. Okay, the petitioner requests approval to replace a total of 23 windows around the house. Altogether, when I was out there around the site, I counted 30 windows. 7 of those windows have already been replaced with vinyl, but that was before the ownership by the Swims from the information I was provided. The proposed windows are Window World 4000 series double hung windows with matching styles to existing cottage. Here are the property photos right here. Just to kind of jump ahead, here's a couple of windows right here that have already been replaced from my observations, and then 3 more over here. So altogether 5. The other 2 around the side over here, facing the Wrightsboro. Here's some close-up pictures of those windows that I took. And then here are those 2 windows that were already replaced around the side. Now, here's some information I was provided by the applicant of the current condition of the windows with their current conditions. But when I was out there, I took pictures of these existing wood windows that are in their current state. Now, over here, this is the rear of the property over here in this area with all these windows proposed to be replaced. And this is on the interior side opposite of Wrightsboro over here with all these windows proposed to be replaced. Now, here are the plans that were submitted, information submitted by the applicant for Window World. And then here are some specs that were submitted with that brochure, with that information. As you can see, I believe it's going to be all vinyl material. Now, Historic Augusta comments are as follows. This application does not include enough information for adequate evaluation. It does not justify why the existing windows need to be replaced and gives very limited photographic evidence. It's always been preferred to retain and repair historic windows in historic districts. Windows are character-defining features of historic homes, including the material, size, framing, muntin pattern, functionality. If replacement windows are allowed, they should match the existing window style as closely as possible. In dimensions, style, muntin pattern, muntin and sash height and width, and double hung sash design. Now, with that information, based on information reviewed and a field visit, staff recommends the following. 7 windows have already been replaced with vinyl windows under previous ownership. No record can be found if these windows were permitted or reviewed during the COA process. These windows are located on the front and street side. Staff recommend the HPC conditionally approve this request with the following conditions, 1 through 3. They are as follows. All new windows shall have an identical muntin design, framing, size, and appearance as the original windows. Number 2, for the proposed replacement windows for the front and street side, the existing windows shall be repaired. If repair is not feasible, the replacement of windows shall consist of wood-clad composition. Number 3, the proposed vinyl windows submitted by the applicant may only be installed in areas of the rear and interior side of the house, which are not visible from the street view. Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation, and I see Mr. Swim is at the podium over there to provide more information.
Mr. Swim, do you have anything, state your name and address?
Michael Swim, 1251 Hurd Avenue.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners, for your time this evening. We are requesting approval to replace 23 windows at 1251 Hurd Avenue with vinyl windows. When my wife and I purchased the home in April last year to be our primary residence, the windows facing Hurd Avenue had already been replaced with vinyl under prior ownership, and those windows are currently visible from the street. 2 windows on Wrightsboro Road side have been previously replaced. We appreciate Mr. Kennedy's site visit, careful review, and recommendation to allow vinyl for non-visible windows while requiring wood-clad windows for those considered street-facing, and we understand the intent behind that recommendation. We'd like to offer a bit of additional context. This is a corner property, and while 5 windows are technically street-facing, those along Wrightsboro Road are not actually visible from the public right-of-way due to existing vegetation and fencing, as shown in the Google Street View images we brought in tonight. We are also presenting documentation showing the condition of the original windows. Many are broken, painted shut, nailed closed, or missing panes entirely. These windows are inoperable and functionally failed, making replacement necessary. Repair would require extensive reconstruction rather than practical restoration. Our request to use vinyl throughout is intended to maintain a cohesive exterior appearance and avoid introducing multiple window materials on the same structure. As we have been advised that wood-clad and vinyl windows are virtually indistinguishable from the exterior, we respectfully ask within a single consistent material best meets the intent guidelines given to the limited visibility and documented conditions. Our goal is to respect the Somerville Historic District while continuing to invest responsibly in our home and to achieve a cohesive, practical solution based on what is actually visible and the condition of the windows. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you so much for your information. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to step forward or say anything concerning this application? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Commissioners, I open the floor to you to ask questions of the applicant.
John McBrayer, District 1, for the record. Not a question, really, just a statement. As far as the guidelines go, there's no gray area. We do not allow vinyl area windows in the historic district. I understand the argument, but they're of lower quality, and thus they lower the appearance and quality of your home in that district. And to go back to what Historic Augusta commented, we didn't really have enough photos. There's only a few windows that were photographed, as far as I could tell, in the packet. So there is a lack of information. And if there's any confusion between the last application and this, the last application, the one window that was going to be replaced was very well documented. It was obviously damaged beyond repair, and they went back with a wood-clad window. We do allow replacement wood-clad windows in the district, but not an all-vinyl window. Sorry, I didn't have it on.
Is that just for the windows visible from the road or all windows?
In the past, even though we're not bound by precedent, we don't make a distinction on visible windows because it opens up a whole Pandora's box of future arguments along that vein. What's visible, what isn't. As a rule, we just don't allow all vinyl windows in the historic district.
And it doesn't matter that the windows have already been replaced with vinyl windows in the front?
We don't reward bad behavior by extending bad behavior, even though the behavior was not yours. I understand you didn't do it. That happened, either they did it under the radar or it happened before the guidelines were in place. I doubt it because those windows always fail after a while. You have to replace them anyway. It behooves you to go with a better quality window, not only for the district, but for your own value.
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
I do want to make a note here that we did research for when the windows were replaced, and there was no permitting found for the replacement of those windows. It was definitely done under the radar. There's no city record of that replacement.
Mr. Chairman, I think the staff recommendation helps him in some respects and maintains the integrity of the intent of the regulation. And so I would make a motion we adopt the staff recommendation in this case.
All right, I have a motion that we adopt staff recommendations. Do I have a second to that motion?
I second it.
We have a motion and properly second. Any further discussion on this motion? All right, call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand.
Okay, let me go ahead and take a count here. So 1, 2, 3, or let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in favor and 4 opposed, Mr. Chair. So I believe the motion carries. Did I count that right? Or I think I did.
That's right.
All right, good. Okay, let me just go ahead and finish up the note here. Almost done. Okay, I got it. Thank you all.
Thank you for your time.
I'll present the next case, sir. Okay, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the next case before you is COA 25-78, a petition by Mrs. Taylor Johnson, excuse me, for a certificate of appropriateness at 2131 Gardner Street, located within the Somerville district. The request is to pave a driveway to concrete and construct a new addition onto an existing residence. Okay, the subject property, as you can see, this is a side view of the house right off on the corner street. I believe that's Millage and or Millageville. I think so. Okay. All right, Millage Road, excuse me. And then here's our sign. And then subject property, I want to take a front picture of the house. So you can see here's our front, and then this is the proposed area where the driveway is proposed to be paved. The addition is going to be behind this existing addition over this way. The staff findings are as follows. 0.55 acre property situated along Gardner Street, the intersection of Millage Road and Gardner Street. Okay, and it features a 3,970 square foot home built in 1891. The property was previously approved for an administrative COA 25-88 in December of 2025 for both interior and exterior renovations. The property is zoned R1, one family residential. There's no zoning issues presented by this petition. Staff findings are as follows, or continuing. The owner is requesting approval for a new carport, roughly about 1,100 square feet, 12 foot in height, and a new living room, 351 square feet in the rear yard of the existing home. The owner is also requesting to reconstruct the existing gravel driveway into a concrete with brick borders. Now here's our submittal plans. Here's our front elevation here. There's an existing garage in the back that's detached. Here is our addition. Now here is our rear addition showing the proposed addition after completion or following completion as with proposed. Here's the left elevation showing that new addition. And then there's the right. As you can see, this is the driveway side. As you can see with this new carport. Now here's the site plan. We have the proposed driveway. Here's a sample of what the driveway will look like with the brick bordering and these concrete pads. Here's the new carport, the new living room filling in this area back in here. And then here's another site plan. As you can see, the new driveway proposed in this area. Here we have Gardner and Millage over here on this side. And then also part of the proposal is to paint the brick into to a white color. Okay, Historic Augusta comments are as follows. Overall, the goals of this application are acceptable, but questions remain. There are three main parts of this HPC request, plus one additional question. Number one, driveway and gate. The proposed new concrete and brick driveway is acceptable as shown, so long as the actual pattern of brick is rectilinear. And the illustration presented isn't clear, possibly due to it being in perspective. The gate is proposed as appropriate. Number two, living room addition. Although the footprint of this addition is appropriate, we are unclear about the wall treatment. Will there be horizontal rectangular windows at the top and bottom with horizontal siding in between? What are the materials being proposed? What is proposed for the roof in terms of its shape and materials? There are incomplete floor plan. There's an incomplete floor plan provided. Makes it difficult to interpret. Number three, carport addition. We have a concern about the structural support indication of the roof size that is indicated. Aesthetically, we would also recommend something closer in design with the other columns of the house or more substantial piers to support the carport roof. Number four, the illustration of the completed rehab shows the house to be painted white. Painting good finish brick is not recommended by the National Park Service standards. Although paint color is not under the purview of the Augusta HPC, Painting the exterior brick in any color will significantly change its appearance of this fine Georgian revival house from the early 20th century. Our recommendation would be to gently clean the brick and repoint any mortar joints that need to be filled. Based on all that information provided, staff recommends the following. The proposed new garage, living room, and driveway is compatible, or are compatible, and will improve the existing parcel. Therefore, staff recommends the commission conditionally approve this request as presented with the following conditions. Number one, the driveway shall be paved with concrete to include 10-foot brick intervals and border as presented. Number two, the exterior siding of the proposed addition shall consist of a horizontal wood siding to match the existing addition. The roofing shall consist of standing seam metal finish. Number three, the proposed carport structural support shall consist of wood columns that match the existing front porch of the house. Number four, the window design shall match the window configurations on the existing addition. Number five, all necessary permits shall be issued prior to any construction commencing. Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation, and I see the applicants are here, and they can answer any questions you might have tonight.
Please state your name and address.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for listening to us. My name is Chris Johnson. Taylor Johnson is my wife. My current address is 2223 Glendale Road, but hopefully soon my address will be this house. And this is my father-in-law. He's also kind of helping manage the renovation for us. He knows a lot more about renovating houses than I do, so he'll be speaking also.
Yes, sir. Do you have anything to add? State your name and address.
My name is Jeff Phillips, and like I said, I'm Chris's father-in-law, and kind of been managing the project as we go along.
Okay. Do you have anything to add? Can you address the questions that Historic Augusta raised in the in their recommendation? Can you address those? And Todd, you may want to put those back up on the screen.
Back up there?
Please, so we can read them. All right, let's go back.
Four of them right there. But
The four of them, right.
Can I speak of a couple changes that we'd like to make in the whole thing too?
Go ahead.
On the driveway, I never really like to do concrete to begin with because it doesn't keep it historical in my mind. So I think we're changing our idea just maybe to do brick pavers for the whole driveway itself. We think that will look architecturally better from doing concrete. And if I did the concrete, I would probably make it a colored concrete, so it just basic concrete I just don't like. So that was one change we were making. As far as addressing the living room addition, our plan is to make the windows appear just like they do on the sunroom. I noticed there were some variations as far as it says, well, new additions can't look like part of the existing house, which I didn't quite understand, but you wanted the windows to look exactly like it. But our intent is to make the living room extension look pretty much just like the sunroom with the same configuration of the windows, which means it'd be a double 4-foot window times 3 that we'll put on that back side, and it will have a transom above it and look almost just like it does for the sunroom, but we don't want to make it look like an extension to the sunroom. So our plan is to use the same type of windows. On the regular house, we can't use the regular house type looking windows because they have like 40 panes per window. And on the front, and then they have like 32 panes per window on the sides, and to find that or buy that would be almost impossible, especially at the 4-foot wide and the length. So we will make the windows very much appear like the sunroom itself from the addition standpoint. As far as the brick and everything, we had it structurally done, as you can imagine, being an 1891 house. It's about the most solid house I've ever seen, and it's all plaster walls on the inside, double brick on the outside, and so it's hard to do anything. So from that standpoint. But from the brick structurally, the structural engineer says everything is sound. But all the brick, a lot of the bricks has a lot of cracks in it, and they kind of been repaired over the years, and we just think maybe by painting it, it would just be a better looking product than for us to try to do all the mortar joints all the way with all the cracks and with some of the headers falling down and everything and putting it back up. We just feel from a cost standpoint too, a little bit that it would be very difficult to make it look like it was a solid brick looking house without all the cracks and everything in it. So that was why we were considering going ahead and painting it and being the white and then doing black gutters coming down just like a lot of other houses around the area from a standpoint and look. Yeah, on the
We need to be able to move some of these pictures so we can have it on screen.
On the addition, it currently has on the sunroom a metal roof, and so we're going with the stainless steel. We talked at one time about seeing if we could go ahead and do shingles, which would match the house or whatever, but I can't get my 312 slope in order to be able to do that, so I've got to go with the stainless seam roof. They just don't make flat gutter roofs and everything like they did back then and everything. So that's why we were going with the stainless seam. We will have a little bit more slope on it than the existing sunroom, but like I said, we can't do a 312 pitch to otherwise we're into the windows above it to be able to do the, so that's why we went with this standing seam roof. But the only really change that mentally that we're doing, considering anything, was the potentially doing a paved brick driveway and staying away from the concrete if at all possible.
All right. Thank you. Todd, would you also put up the staff recommendation?
Sure. There we go. There.
Eric, you're here. I wanted to ask you some of the explanation he has given. Do you have any, is he answering some of the questions that you had in your recommendation?
I'm Eric Montgomery, Historic Augusta. So the driveway is proposed sounds great. It's better to me. I like that, the brick pavers instead of the concrete. What he's explained about the living room addition answers some of the questions. I think if the addition, I've been to the house a couple of times, once with them and once with the previous owner, and that sunroom is a beautiful addition. To extend that would be good, and it's the way you describe it, it sounds better, but it's not what was submitted, but it sounds like you're interested in changing that. Let's see, what else?
Well, it was kind of like we submitted, but we're just saying that we're making the windows look more like the sunroom windows.
Right. And then the standing seam roof over that would be fine. It just was not addressed in the application. And then I really hope this house won't be painted. I understand what you're talking about, but it's just such fine brick. It's a beautiful house. It's a Georgian house. They're supposed to be red brick, and it's just a shame to paint it. And if you do it, it's real hard to reverse it down the road if you change your mind. So that's where I come from on that. And the carport addition was just fine, but my committee is a committee of architects, and they just said, I think it should be, the support should be more in keeping with what's already on the house.
With the carport, we plan on doing probably about a 2-foot brick with a column on top of it, and then we'll have a big beam across it on the front, and then we'll have different columns in the back from a support stand.
Okay, they were just, it looked like it wasn't fully supported, but that.
Drawing, it looks like it was just kind of hanging.
Right. So, is that enough?
That's good. All right.
Let me add one more thing. We are thrilled that you're doing this. I don't know if you know, but about
20 years, I think, so.
well, but about 3 years ago, we put this on our endangered properties list. So the fact that somebody's bought it and is going to rehab it, we're delighted. So don't take this as criticism. We're happy.
We're fine, and trust me, I want to keep everything in store. I'm just glad they had storm windows on it that protected the 40 pane windows that were up there, so all the windows are in pretty good shape, except they're old with the old plates and everything.
Mr. Chairman.
Let me ask, Chris, do you have any, you see the staff recommendations that's on the, do you have any objections with the staff recommendations that has been presented?
No, sir.
Just number one.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we're going to
Number
change
one,
the,
because we wanted to.
You're going to change the
right,
driveway?
we'll use all the pavers, but the rest, we don't have any objection to at all.
Okay, all right. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to address this issue? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Commissioners, you have any questions of the applicant this time, of the status recommendations?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I just want to say it's as somebody who lives a few blocks away, it's nice to be able to see that house finally. You've cleaned up the lot quite a bit. And you can really appreciate what a beautiful house it is and what a nice lot you have there. I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the staff recommendation.
I got another question.
Just a quick comment, Bob, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Just wanted to reiterate, as a preservationist, what Mr. Montgomery said. So happy to see someone taking that house on. I trust you'll do a great job with it. And no, we do not dictate paint color. I would just caution you for your own benefit to really carefully consider that, because that'd be really hard to undo. And there's an ongoing fad of white houses with black windows right now, but fads don't tend to last. I think it may make you look dated in the long run. Just have to say that as a preservationist. But thank you once again.
What about painting it potentially something other than a white?
I'm like Eric. I love the red.
I'm open to not painting it. I like the brick myself.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you only paint a house, a brick house, if the brick is ugly, like the yellow brick. Sometimes it makes it look better, but you got gorgeous brick. And a Georgian house should be red brick. But in the end, that's your decision. I just wanted to make you think about it.
Okay.
Mr. Mabin, Mr. Mabin, you wanted to ask a question?
No, actually, my compadre, I was about to ask Mr. Joe. I said, we still can't talk you out of painting it white, but everything else I'm good with.
Get any restoration cost?
You can talk to Historic Augusta about that.
The only other question I have is looking at the front walkway. Is there any thought of redoing that as you're doing the driveway?
We're gonna wash it all and we're gonna reset it all.
Okay.
But it's
Right.
all the brick is good there, so we're just gonna reuse that.
The brick is in good shape.
Right.
Clean it up.
Yeah, it looks like it. I was just wondering if you were going, hey, we'll fix this while we're fixing the driveway.
Can I ask you all a question that doesn't pertain to this?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
You know, we had a chain link fence on Millage, and I understand that you don't want no more chain link fences. And instead of just repairing it, I said, well, let's just tear it down and do a nicer chain link fence, which I was turned down by staff as far as being able to put another chain link fence up. But where does the city really own? Because I cleared out all the way down to the driveway, or all the way down to the
Down to the curb.
Sure.
to the sidewalk. And I noticed that it looks like everybody down Millage is taking care of from the road all the way up to their house.
That's correct, yeah.
That's correct. Yep.
So I'm assuming that whatever I do on the side of that hill is permissible.
Yeah. I don't think anybody would object if you're going to improve it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't.
yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't think so. Your plat would be, you'd have a survey on it that would show you where the easement is that the city has. But nobody's going to.
The city's not going to complain about me.
The city is not.
Sidewalks and all that.
The city is not going to maintain it. I can guarantee you that. So,
That was my
does
point.
anybody disagree with that?
I'll ask the cemetery about that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the staff recommendation with respect to item 1, that we amend that to include pavers for the driveway.
Second.
We have a second, have a motion and a second. Any further discussion for the commissioners? Hearing none, all raise your right hand in favor.
I see unanimous vote, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you
So
so much.
much. Thank you.
It's needed it for a long time.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
More houses you can buy and redo if you'd like. He can give you a list.
I'm only doing it
I'll just tell you, I went to medical school at MCG and I moved to
Okay.
Augusta in 2008 and I saw that house and I thought, man, that would be a really cool house to live in one day. So here we are.
Here you are. All right,
Thank you.
good. Thank you. Thank you again.
All right, Todd, next applicant.
All right, this is the last of the COAs before you tonight. COA 25-80, a petition by Mr. Nate Dickinson on behalf of Firethorn Wealth Partners for a certificate of appropriateness, 952 Reynolds Street in the downtown historic district to replace windows and make exterior modifications to an existing commercial structure. And here are pictures of the site right there coming off of Reynolds, and then looking in the courtyard down the way. More pictures of the subject property. I believe all these windows right here are supposed to be going to be replaced, and I think this up in here is going to be repaired, and then more pictures are going to be following. The staff findings are as follows. The 0.22 acre property is situated along the McCartan Street and 10th Street block of Reynolds and Broad Street. Features a 6,970 square foot building built in 1998. There are no recent petitions regarding this property. The property is zoned B2, general business. There are no zoning issues presented with this petition. The petition is requesting approval to replace the current windows and make exterior modifications to the existing commercial building. Property photos, collected some photos from the applicant. Here's a side view right in here, all these pictures. And then more of a close-up on the deck. Here are the windows up here, more of a close-up. Now, this stairway is supposed to be replaced. It's going to be taken down and replaced with a different design. Here's a side view of it right here. Now, here's our submittal plans, and I believe this is existing. Instead of the stairway going out, it's just going to be doing that switchback design on both of them. Over here as well. And then here is a building elevation showing the rear elevation facing the courtyard. Here's the balcony, and then here's the stairways as proposed, and here's the side view looking at Reynolds, looking at the building. Okay, Historic Augusta comments are as follows. Although part of this building is historic, it has been significantly remodeled over several years. Replacing rotted steps and balconies appropriate with more permanent steel and concrete steps, so long as the new ones are the same basic design as those existing. Installing new windows in the historic window openings is also appropriate, since the ones currently in place are neither historic or appropriate. However, we recommend the new ones be vinyl or aluminum clad double hung windows with 2x2 or 6x6 true or simulated divided light Muntin patterns or greater. With all that information, staff recommends makes the following recommendation. Staff recommends HPC conditionally approve this request with the following conditions. Number 1, the new windows be vinyl or aluminum clad double hung windows with 2x2 or 6x6 true or simulated divided light Muntin patterns or greater. Number 2, the proposed stairways be comprised of more permanent material such as steel and concrete and match the designs as proposed. Mr. Chair, that concludes my presentation, and I see Mr. Dickinson in the audience tonight. Oh, he's right over there.
All right.
Yep.
You have any, Mr. Dixon, state your name and address.
Nick Dickinson, 771 Broad Street, Suite 200.
Do you have anything to add to the presentation at this time, or any comments you'd like to make to the commission?
We'd like to request for item number 1, the leniency to possibly use a casement with a faux check rail to simulate a double hung, but just probably a non-operational window. Would that be permissible?
Okay. We have anyone in the audience who'd like to speak for or about this application? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Eric, do you have any objections to what his statement? Go ahead.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure that, I mean, it's like it's a blind building right now because it has these weird windows that don't have any character. As long as you add character, I think that's good. So
That's the plan, yes.
Muttons and mullions are help add that, so, yeah.
Yes, yeah, we definitely have the mutton bars.
Okay. All right. Well, hearing that from the audience, commissioners, do you have questions of the applicant or statements you'd like to make at this time? Please raise your hand, be recognized. Well, I'm hearing no discussion. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved.
Have a motion to approve. Do we have a second to that
I
motion?
second it.
We have a motion to approve and a second.
Yes. We didn't include the
You want
include the staff recommendations?
Staff recommendation, yes, sir.
We're going to modify the window one to be a casement?
Speaking to.
Are we going to modify the staff recommendation for a casement with muttons attached? Are we okay with that?
That's the decision of the commission.
That's included.
Is that, you want to make that recommendation?
Sure.
Modify
Modified and
make the
inclusive.
motion.
Just question it.
Yep. I'm fine with that, with that inclusion.
All right, you need to state that in the motion.
Okay. What was the term you used? I'm not going to do this off memory.
A casement window with,
Faux check rail?
faux check rail.
Okay, a casement window with a faux check rail, is that it? Okay. Does that work?
I'll second it.
Second. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, do I have a vote? In favor, raise your right hand.
Passed by unanimous vote, Mr. Chair.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Let's take the other little giddy things we got to do here, Todd.
All right.
We have no old business.
No, sir, no old business tonight. But I do have some information to go ahead. Let me just go ahead and get past it. Now we get into the business side of it. Okay, next item on the agenda. I do have it, the first thing is, as a request by Commissioner Mattson, Broad Street Improvement Project. I put that on the next item on the agenda. Do we want to talk about that, or?
I'm just going to state this. I recommend that you put this on the agenda for talk, speak to this issue, and I support supporting it, but the commission's already passed it.
Oh, okay.
They passed it yesterday at their meeting. They extended $2 million to update it.
And that was the whole point of the discussion, was to do that, so they've already, we're good. I'm good, at least.
All right, I don't think there need to go further with that. Let's go with number B.
Okay.
You could adopt a resolution of thanking them for doing it.
Hey, was that all the agenda items, or was St. Mary's supposed to be?
No, it's been, St. Mary's was pulled.
It was postponed.
Yes.
Postponed on next month. Yep. Okay. Next item on the agenda is further discussion of metal roofs, kind of carrying into from last month. And I want to include some additional information. Some of these images are from last month. I included the image of a standing seam depiction that we were using. Anyway, moving ahead, I included this one from a recent staff-approved metal-to-metal change, and this was included. This is a standing seam depiction here. I thought it was really well documented that they submitted, so I just wanted to use as a sample. And definitely, commissioners, correct me if I'm on the right track or not. And then also, furthermore, this is from that same depiction or a documentation that I received, brochure. Now, also, I did run into something beginning of this month, and I wanted to bring it to your attention because it's about metal roofs. I kind of came across something that changing an old metal roof, the old turn metal, I believe it was, I got to double check it, to a 5V would not be a good change. I found that out, and I kind of, had a little education on that. So I want to include this, just for your information. This is why it was supplied by the applicant. Even though it looks like something like this, it's not exactly the same. It might look like it, but it has that rib design. Furthermore, I picked up some more information online. As you can see, this is a 5V, and that's another 5V is where my cursor is. Let's see what else I include. So now also at the beginning of the meeting, Commissioner Young and I had a conversation, and I think he was trying to email me some additional photos or images, but I don't think the email went through. But he sent me a latest email, so I got to go check my computer to see if it went through or not. But that's what I have right now at this point. But what I wanted to show is maybe something like this, because it's a very good illustration. This right here to be included maybe in the guidelines. But I just wanted to just check and see. This is kind of a check-in to see what I have so far and where we need to go.
Well, I applaud this. We need this. We've got to come up with something, because to try to work with some of these homes, and they're changing in the styles. And I know that in the past, we've gone from, the standards have changed. We've got new materials, we've got new designs and these things. And I want us to do what we can to get the information. I want cooperation from Augusta Historic to help guide us through this, because there should be other options with the new materials we have, and how it would affect, I know how it would affect possibly on some of the historic guidelines that we have with the state and the federal guidelines. So, but we need to work with that, even not stop with the metal roof, but we need to talk about terracotta, slate, and these other that's out, that we could go to Historic Augusta and speak with them and see if we can come up with some type of compromise. Does that satisfy some of the commissioners' concerns about how we've been dealing with the roofs and whatnot? And we also jump in any time, gentlemen, if you want to have a question about that. Yes, John.
I would just say that with the standing seam, there's a different standing seam that's appropriate for residential as opposed to commercial. And the standing seam itself should not be 2 or 3 inches proud on a residential house, where it might be appropriate on an industrial or commercial building. And Nathan and Eric can weigh on this, but to me, if you can't afford the standing seam, if that can't be done in the way it was originally on a house, to me, a 5V, a standard 5V, is more appropriate than the agricultural-looking panel that you had displayed. It has the grooves and everything. To me, that's like for a commercial building, or for maybe an agricultural building, like a barn, say. But I'd like for Nathan and or Eric to weigh in on that.
Any other comments?
I would say that the 2 roofs being shown on this, neither one of them should be appropriate in our historic districts. Neither one of these were historically put on any of these houses. The ribbed one was more of it's an agricultural panel, as well as the 5V. You'll kind of see those more in rural areas on barns and stuff. I don't think you're going to see any of those on a historic home in Somerville or in Old Town or in the downtown district. And I think that's why the guidelines have been written the way they are, to have a 16-inch wide flat panel with a 1.5 inch vertical seam, because that's what represents the hand-turned or hand-crimped roofs that we're seeing in those areas. And I would have a hard time suggesting somebody to go to one of those other 2. So,
thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, the pictures I sent to Todd, I was hoping we'd have them up on the screen tonight as part of our discussion, but I just went through Somerville and I took pictures of metal roofs, and I found at least a half a dozen different styles of metal roofs in Somerville. And for the guideline to only say you can put up one kind of metal roof in Somerville, that one kind of metal roof is representative, is really not accurate. And I think we saw some homeowners come through here a couple of months ago, and they were just getting beaten up by the prices of the metal roof that's specified in Somerville. And what is specified is not the only style of metal roof that you see in Somerville. So I'm saying, well, let's look at other options that may be out there, and perhaps different materials that give the same result for a metal roof, the same kind of look that we're looking at, and appropriately revise the guidelines where we can revise them to kind of help these folks restore these homes. We got to keep it affordable.
Eric?
So a couple of things. One of the problems is that almost all historic metal roofs were turn metal. I would say, maybe not all, I don't know, most of them were. And they don't make turn metal anymore. So we have to come up with substitutes. The trouble with the 5V is that most of it, well, first of all, it's cheaper, and for good reason, because it's inferior. But they also, mostly they attach it with screws through the metal, and they put little rubber grommets under the screw, and that wears out in about 10 years, or maybe less, and then it starts leaking, and then here we go again. We got to do something about the roof. So those are some of the things to take into consideration, and Nathan can probably speak to that better than me. So,
one of the roofs that I had concern with, and that we've had them come through us, is the stamped tin roofs that have a pattern, which you can't even source that profile anymore. And that's where I'm curious, like, that's where I have my biggest concerns with when some of those stamped tin roofs start coming up in front of us. And because a flat panel standing seam is a design change, it looks totally different. And
are you talking about metal shingles?
yeah, the metal shingles that are stamped. And
well, you can get those, but you probably can't match what.
As chair, I'm going to make an executive decision here. I'm going to appoint a subcommittee. I'm going to appoint former Mayor Young, John McBair, and Nathan Vick to work with Historic Augusta to come up with variations of the metal roof and how we can make it work and to present back to the commission. So, fellas, you're going to have a little bit of homework. So, do I have any objections of this appointment? Any from the appointees?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
And when your subcommittee bring these back, maybe this is for Eric too, does this have to be presented to Somerville Neighborhood Association for this to go in their guideline book?
We will make presentations to the Somerville Homeowners Association because they need to upgrade their guidelines.
Right.
And we're going to work in conjunction with them. But the main thing is for
that's good.
We have someone that lives in Somerville now, and we got two architects, and we work with Historic Augusta to try to go forward with this. Because we do need to come up with some type of alteration. So make sure we. Mr. Young, do you mind chairing that little subcommittee?
In honor of your birthday today, I'll accept
All right. Former Mayor Young will be the chair of the subcommittee and work with that. And we'll let him set his schedules and however they make the report back to the commission.
Mr. Chair, before we go to the next item, I was out of my seat when you went to old business. This might be, I don't know, I believe it was an old COA. And our interim director, Mr. Vester, got in the hot seat. I think he got put on the spot, and that came from the Bon Air COA on the windows.
Yep. Yes.
And I wonder how did that, I guess, get under the radar either, I don't know who gave the okay, and because it really put the planning department and his department under the gun, particularly him.
I was not
From
on
my
the-
understanding, they did it in the middle of the night. They did it in the middle of the night.
Commissioner Mabry, I understand the whole thing about this Bon Air. I understand it. I don't know why it happened. But Mr. Fett, Ambassador, would you just address that, because it never came before the Historic Preservation Commission, to my knowledge, about any of the windows at all.
Okay, so to my understanding, this happened before my time, but to my understanding, it came before staff, and it was at that level, it was staff approved. I think due to they followed all the guidelines, and they pretty much put the same window back in the building. So that's what I was understanding to know.
I guess my next question, my follow-up question is this. It was staff approved. I have a picture, I've got it, but where they never came to before the Historic Preservation Commission, and this goes back to the windows, and they took all the windows out of the ballroom and boarded them up. And my concern, and I've spoken with Todd and some other commissioners about this, is once we pass the COA and we put the conditions out there, how do we follow it up and make sure they do what they're saying they're going to do? Now, we just handled something with Sky City where they had to put up a escrow account before they tore the building down. They said that under conditions they would build a hotel, and they got a timeline to do this, and if they don't, they have to forfeit the money to the county. How do we follow through with approvals of our COAs? What happens? Do they just get it and fall off a cliff, or do we hold their feet to the fire that they do what they say they're going to do?
I would have to agree with you on that. We definitely need to hold their feet to the fire. That, what you said as far as how we did 1140, we may have to do something like that, but I'm not 100% sure. As far as when someone violate, we definitely need to hold them accountable and have them penalized for the violation. I do agree with you on that. But that's something we have to go to the table and think about and figure out how we need to do it as a whole.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're asking. So if I furnish you with the pictures of what they did to the ballroom in some where they didn't come get a COA approval, and to my knowledge, they didn't get a work permit to do any of this. Will we take that to the people that did the work?
Dave, when you, Commissioner Barbie, when you mention the work done to the ballroom, are you speaking specifically to exterior improvements to that portion of the facility? Are you referring to exterior changes to the ballroom? Oh, the windows to the ballroom?
Yes.
Okay.
In other words, they removed the windows and covered them.
I think that was part of that staff-approved COA as well.
That was a staff approval?
That was part of the same initial approval for the other windows. That was part of that.
Wow.
And staff here, I was working in that division, and Vassal wasn't appointed interim. So we didn't really know about it until the people they had the forklift and ready to install. So they had already pulled a permit. They requested for the COA 6 months prior, and now that's in our lap. So based on that, we were reactionary to what had already been approved. But obviously, something to that extent should have been approved by you all, 700 plus windows and window replacements for the ballroom.
Well, that I think that's a concern of mine. I can't speak for the rest of the commissioners, but my concern is once we handle these conditions and we handle them, how do we follow up and make sure that they follow the guidelines, the conditions that we issued?
Yeah,
and if they don't, then what's our repercussion?
It's effectively tracking, as you mentioned, having that spreadsheet of previously approved and having our code enforcement team being more proactive on citing these properties and ensuring that the city holds these properties accountable, you know, and they get the standard notice as a zoning violation and goes to the courts for, you know, this decision. So that's how it should be handled, you know, to effectively hold these parties accountable for any wrongdoing or not following up the proper procedures.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, one thing, and you could just do this administratively, I would imagine, is just require that there be a closeout inspection after each building work permit issued under a COA, that there's a closeout inspection, and just make that a requirement. Of course, it's more work on the staff to do that, but that would close the loop.
Is that a possibility we could have the post inspections or like we do with permits when we close them out?
Yeah, I'm not exactly familiar with the inspection process, but certainly there should be there should be a inspection process with all of these COAs to ensure that they are complying with the conditions that were approved by you all.
When we issue a permit, there is an inspection.
But I'm not sure if the closeout is an additional inspection, or are we reflecting to the inspection that naturally occurs through the permitting process?
Well, this would be an inspection on completion of the work.
Right.
To confirm the work was done in accordance with the COA.
Okay. Yes, okay, I see.
Just a closeout inspection. I think you have, I think the mothball ordinance requires a closeout inspection that you've mothballed it according to the ordinance, right?
Right.
And so this would just be something similar, that the inspector would, when you finish your work under the COA, you call the inspection department, say, I'm ready for that closeout inspection, and they go, look, and if people don't call for a closeout inspection, then there's something going on.
Yeah. And the inspectors are generally building permit staff, and I'm not sure how astute or acquainted they are to our requirements and what has been approved by COA, but there definitely has to be more of a communication between us, staff, and the inspectors to ensure that that's been done properly.
Well, Todd will provide some continuing education for the inspection department staff. How about that?
Todd.
Okay. All right, we all have a list of the staff, the staff COA appropriate staff approvals. Is there any questions from any of the commissioners about these staff approvals? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the last item, which would be legal. Do we have any legal business?
No, no
We
legal.
have none. All right. Well, so we have any further business at all? All right. Do I have any objections of adjourning? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.